Welcome to the CWC podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the home modern dating, current events, politics, and a little bit of everything else. Today, we're going to have some fun. Today, we're actually kind of branching out into a little bit different realm. But call it a movie review, right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Call it a movie review. We are talking about, there's a reason that Amina is themed out in this kind of Barbie look that she has going. Because we're going to be talking about Barbie. That's right. The Barbie movie, which has gone bananas, has broken all kinds of records. I believe it was the 4-day total was from Thursday to Sunday was 155 million. It actually broke the record that was set by Super Mario Brothers a couple of months ago, which that set the animated release record. And Barbie has already blown that out. I think it's up to like 300 million already, or something like that. It's on its way to 300 million. So it's a smash hit. At the same time, it's very divisive. So that's what we're here to talk about today is why is it divisive? Now, full disclosure, I have not seen the movie. Amina has. She went this past weekend, right?
Yes.
And maybe it might not be what you expect Amina to say today, because what we're seeing in the Twitter sphere and and different social media channels is that it is woke. And it is your typical male bashing. It is your typical, society would be much better if all we had were women, right? So here we're going to discuss that today. I didn't see what a large chunk of the population saw. And we've been dissecting as we were doing research for the show. We were talking about why that may be. If you go into something with preconceived notions. If you go in there expecting to be upset by something, that could potentially have an impact on what you actually see, right?
Yeah.
So with all that being said out of the way, we're going to have some fun. Did you like the movie? Tell us about the movie. What did you like? What did you dislike?
Okay. I'll get it right out of the way and let everybody know I liked the movie.
Okay.
I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of laugh out loud moments. I had a lot of moments where I out loud said, "This is great. This is great."
Wow, great.
Yes.
All right.
Because I'm into that kind of comedy. It is definitely a satire. It is over the top. I think it's meant to be. Anything with Will Ferrell in it, I think is over the top. I love him.
Was he the CEO?
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it was silly, and it was supposed to be silly. And let me set the stage. I took my niece and my daughter to see the movie. I went, I was awake for over 30 plus hours at this point. I was a little sleep deprived, work related. I'm a registered nurse. I work a lot from time to time, and I'm a single mom. So I still carry out the responsibilities of having fun with my child, even if I'm tired. So I went to the movies anyway. It was packed. Plenty of people dressed in pink, lots of families.
Was it lots of moms and daughters, or
lots of moms and daughters, lots of dads?
Oh, dads?
Full families. Grandma was there. Like, wow. I saw full families, all the children, the grandma, everybody. This is from, grandmas on down, because we've all played with Barbies, right? And my theater personally was into this movie. They clapped when the movie started, and they clapped when it ended. There was laugh out loud moments, and I feel like I got it. Like, I know it was like a lot of people are upset about it, making man as the villain, and oh God, if the world would be so much better if there weren't men in it. But I think most of the people that are angry about this are adults, and male adults. They're really, really mad about it.
But there were some female commentators that we saw that were upset with it, but yeah, I think for the most part,
I personally think there's sticks in the mud because they don't get the comedy. This is funny. This is over the top funny. This is like Spaceballs funny. Like, if anybody that saw Star Wars, and then if they saw Spaceballs and they You either loved it or you hated it, but you had to get the comedy to like it.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. And anybody that is angry, about this movie, they don't get it. And that's okay. The comedy, it went over your head. You didn't get it. And
so let me ask you, let me throw that based on what the commentary that we watched today, so that you can see some of the backlash. Have people just forgotten how to have fun at the movies?
Like, completely.
Is that like, is it, because here's what I think. And again, I haven't seen the movie, but here's for my 2 cents. I kind of believe that because we've become such a polarized society, like everything now has to be put through a political lens, unfortunately. So we've forgotten kind of just how to enjoy something without dissecting and analyzing everything about it. It sounds to me like, though, the theater that you were in, people were just having fun.
They were just having fun.
Just having fun, watch the movie, get popcorn, watch the movie. And some of the commentary that I saw, and by the way, so these were right-leaning channels, right, that we were looking at to get the perspective. Actually, the response that I saw from them was kind of like you. Like some of the channels that I saw, like these are people who are, because we've been called, right, alt-right, whatever, but these people are way right, a lot of them, and they kind of got it, I think. Like how you got it, they kind of got it. Like they were like for me, for example, like one of the channels I watched, the guy said, look, the movie's not for us. Like I'm 46-year-old man. It's not made for me. Right? It's not made for me. Like,
and it seems like the men are the most upset about it. And it's a simple story. It's a very flimsy kind of storyline, but it does have, I guess, an agenda. But Barbie is all about women empowerment. Girls can be anything. And it's just a funny twist on the story that the Kens aren't noticeable, and they're not happy unless Barbie sees them. And then when they come into, I know it's just silly. When they come into the real world, Ken becomes programmed by all the macho men, walking around.
Did he become an alpha?
He became an alpha.
Okay.
And he became an alpha. And for the first time someone asked him for the time, he felt useful. He felt like someone saw him. It's like, they asked me for the time. And there's really silly jokes in there. But he takes what he learned back to Barbie land, and he reprograms all the Kens and all the Barbies. And now the Barbies are no longer presidents and leaders. They're asking the Kens if they want a brewski. And Ken had his Mojo Dojo Kick-Ass Club, or whatever it was called, was the name of his new hut that he turned Barbie's doll dream house into his Mojo Dojo. It was really funny, and it was silly, and it was a musical, which I wasn't prepared for, because there was one scene that I did actually fall asleep to.
Yeah, good thing I didn't see, because I don't like musicals.
It was too much singing and dancing for me towards the end. And but anything with Will Ferrell in it, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. And I think that the parents, the problem with the world is the parents, is the people out here judging the movie and expecting something big from Barbie.
So I'll tell you what I believe. Even having not seen it, I don't need to see it to give this particular comment, because what I believe has happened is that the male bashing part of it, because actually I put in my notes. One of the things I put in was a lot of men, we feel that, we're under attack from society, right? Like everything is kind of like men are the problem. Tear down the patriarchy, tear down, to turn men more feminine, get them more in touch with their feminine side, basically turn us into women. It really is what society, a chunk of society would like to see happen, is just have a bunch of just soft guys walking around like Ken, right? And I think that's
Alan.
Or Alan's the other guy, right? Played by Michael Cera, I believe, which was perfect casting. Because Michael Cera, if you just understand him, if you've seen him in things, I can see that working for him. So I think what has happened for a lot of the guys that are upset about it is they're like, okay, here we go again. Like every time something comes out, it has to be about the patriarchy and
But it was
men.
done on purpose, is
In
what
this case,
people
it
are
was done on
not
purpose.
getting. The book that he picked up said patriarchy
That made a
on
lot of
it.
people upset.
It was supposed to be funny, and it
Yeah.
was funny. Like, to me, it was funny. Everyone is really taking things way too seriously these days.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't even laugh at stuff. Like, okay, let's use Spaceballs as a comparison, a barometer here.
Mm-hmm.
We were 10, 11.
Yeah, I think it came out in '87
when we watched the movie, and it was rated PG.
Yeah.
It had a lot of sexual innuendo.
Yeah.
It was complete satire. It rolled over, destroyed. If you didn't understand it, it made a mockery of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? But if you just didn't get it, you didn't get it.
Well, you can't watch that movie without having seen Star Wars. I mean, you can, but it really won't make any sense, and it'll be like, this is really stupid. Because I know people who've seen it, they're like, that's the stupidest movie I've ever seen, because they don't understand Star Wars to begin with.
The princess stunt double was a man.
Was a man with a cigar, and Colonel Sanders, the stunt double Colonel Sanders, was gay. And guess what, guys? Nobody had a problem with this in 1987. Everybody thought it was funny or whatever. Now that would be I'm sure that would be a big deal. I'm sure that oh my God, why did they have to make this? Right?
Take Mel Brooks' Academy Award away from him right now.
Yeah, you can't, because what the point that I'm making here is that, and I know one of my good friends is a stand-up comic. He was telling me about how, like, a lot of comics now, you have to kind of be careful because there's also an attack on comedy, right? Because now it used to be you could just get up there and just let it loose now, right? But now you have to kind of be a little bit on eggshells and put the political. Am I going to offend half the room? Because are they going to stand up and walk out because everybody's so sensitive about everything, right? That's what I think's going on.
Lighten up, everybody. I believe the movie was meant to be over the top. It was meant to be ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is over the top. The storyline is very exaggerated. Yeah, everyone's mad because Barbie was let out of jail because she's pretty.
Yeah, but I saw that comment. People were saying, one of the articles I read, they were saying about that particular scene, oh, what a great message to send to girls, right? Is that all you have to do is be pretty and you get away with murder, right? So it's...
The very beginning of the movie is little girls, which I found a little disturbing at first, but now I realize the direction the movie was going in. They were bashing their doll babies because Barbie came out.
Okay.
They were like, oh, everyone has doll babies and the doll baby, until Barbie came out.
Yeah.
And then they were all bashing the dolls and they were breaking and busting into pieces. And I was just like, we never did that. That's weird. But that was the beginning of the satire. It was over the top. And what people are not getting is it's supposed to be ridiculous. Everyone should calm down. It's just supposed to be funny. It was a musical. It was a comedy. It was a beautiful, the set design was gorgeous.
Well, the set design, even the people that don't like the movie, they actually did speak highly of the set design and the actual cinematography. They spoke highly of that.
If you watch any of the making of, they're all laughing while they're shooting the thing. It's meant to be silly. The weird Barbie that's played with too much, that was one of the best jokes. I laughed out loud. The movie's just supposed to be funny, guys. It's not supposed to be really taken all that seriously.
You would watch it again, it sounds like.
I will. I will watch it again. When it comes on Netflix or whatever it is, it's meant to be funny in that genre. If you don't understand satires, then this movie will bother you.
So what's interesting about this is that, and this has happened to me before, and this is why I don't like, I don't go see most movies anymore, because quite frankly, the quality has just gone way down from what it used to be. I used to be a movie buff. I was in a movie like on Tuesday nights. Like that's the kind of guy I used to be, right? I used to go to movies and see a lot of things. Like if something would come out, I wouldn't even really know too much about it. I would go see it because I'm just, into movies. At least I was. Now the quality's kind of gone down. I haven't, really had, except I saw Mission Impossible last week. Very good movie, by the way. All those have been good. But I think what has happened is that if we go into like, I don't read like if there's something I want to see like for Mission Impossible, I didn't read any reviews. I didn't look at any scores. I didn't look at anything. I was like, let me go in there with a clear head, because what can happen is you can get caught up in the narrative. Like, you can read about something and it could tell you about how terrible this movie is. If you read that before you go in, you're gonna be thinking, aren't I supposed to hate this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Isn't this
Mm-hmm.
trash? Like, what? But if you go in there and you watch it just with an open mind, and that's what I'm seeing, like some of the commentators that I've been seeing, they went in there and saw it with an open mind, and they said, if you just go in there and just go watch the movie,
It's silly.
it's enjoyable. It's cheesy. There are some parts that they say could have been like there. A lot of people had issues with some of the adult themed jokes and some of the innuendo that was used. There's a lot of people that say that that's sending a bad message to children and things like that.
Let me
But
tell you something. The 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 5 to 15, because my daughter's 12 and my niece is 15, and there's from 5, they're not going to get it.
yeah,
They didn't get it. All they saw was a Barbie movie. All the stuff that the parents are upset about, the children didn't
yeah.
see anyway. So, which raises my question. Do you think that all of this is real? All of this upsetness, or is this a form of
Marketing?
yeah?
It could be. Well, I'll tell you my theory on not just this movie, but just like pop culture in general.
Seems like too much.
At the end of the day, and I've been saying this on a lot of the podcasts shows that we've done, the idea is to keep people divided, right? So if we can keep it, I mean, my goodness, people are arguing about a Barbie movie, for crying out loud, right? So it's working.
Can't we all just get along?
It's working, right? So the powers that be, because I believe the goal is to keep us divided one way or another. So if we can put it into the pop culture, if we can put it into this, sounds like it goes over the top with it, almost to poke fun at that.
You know what I think? I think that everyone feels like they felt in my opening theater on Friday night, Friday evening, 5:30. Clapped at the beginning of the movie, clapped at the end of the movie. It is everyone on YouTube and Facebook and all of these names that have come out here with this divisive critique of the movie to drop thoughts and hints and ideas into people's heads to then now create the Moses. Let's get everybody divided and upset now over a pink, fun movie with good-looking people in it that was really simple and went over the top with their silly, silly jokes. And Will Ferrell's in it, and it's funny. So.
One thing you have to also understand is that a lot of these channels, like a lot of the popular YouTube channels and social media accounts, so somebody gave me kind of we had a good debate about a lot of stuff like this, and he actually made a very good point. He said, listen, a lot of these people do what he calls rage farming. And he made a good point, and I had to actually concede that to him, because a lot of these channels, you must remember, their audience is dependent upon hearing that negative stuff, right? So it's
replacing the news.
They must show up, and this is actually very interesting, because some of the YouTube channels I still might listen to some of it, but a lot of them I've kind of steered away from, because, to be honest with you, it's very negative. Like, and I get it. Listen, people love to see train wrecks, right? People that's just how human nature, right? So a lot of people, they will tune into something where somebody's going to tear down, and like we talked about Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, we watched his read up, because we want to get both sides. Like, we want to hear both sides of the, and Ben Shapiro's way over here, and then some of the people way over here. He's very, very upset. Like, he's the one who burned in the beginning of his.
He set fire to dolls.
He put all the dolls in like a dumpster and set it on fire. Like, he took his daughters and everything. He was very upset with the movie. He had like a 40-minute review.
It's not that serious
on it. We only listened to like the first 5, because we got the point. He was very, very, upset about the messaging and the things that were being done in the movie. But then, I've watched other commentators who are also kind of lean that way, and they're kind of like, he's taking it too serious. He's just taking it a little too serious. Like maybe he'll
I
even.
understand why the men are upset because it's like, oh man, they're making us the bad guy again and everything like that. I can kind of get, and men that don't get that kind of comedy, they're really pissed off about it. But the women that are upset about it, I kind of tend to think that they're following the trend of the views. They're
Mhm.
following the trend of what gets, gets your attention on your channel. And
Mhm.
just being mad about Barbie's gonna do it.
I do believe that I know it happens in cryptocurrency space. I talked about that where guys will, like, if they see their clicks and views going down, what they'll do is go out there and find out what's the narrative right now. Like, what's the popular narrative that I can piggyback on, even if it's not what I believe. And see, that's when I think that's when you're going into you're just, I call it chasing clicks.
There was a chick we watched before this. I don't know her name, but watching her and listening to her get upset.
Oh, that was Lauren Chen.
I felt like she was a stick in the mud. So I'm sorry, I don't know, but
She's
that video,
conservative though.
That video was a stick in the mud. I was just like, seriously, really, you're that upset?
Yeah. There were a lot of the girls, the ladies that were saying that it's ruined their childhood memories of Barbie. It's ruined it and everything.
It strengthened my love for Barbie. I thought it was silly. I thought it was funny. As a matter of fact, I'm going to buy some Barbie Crocs this weekend.
Oh, wow. Now I can relate in this way. Here's how I can relate. Okay, growing up, my pop culture stuff that I grew up on, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man. Those 4 things, right?
Yeah,
the toy chest we had was full of all of those things. Now, here is what happened to me. If I see a movie that destroys what I love, right? And it and they have done this. Like, if you've seen any of the G.I. Joe movies, they're garbage. They're complete trash. Like, it's so bad that, like, I saw the first one and I said, okay, this doesn't exist to me. I didn't like it, right? But guess what? I just didn't watch any of the other ones that they made, because to me, that doesn't exist to me. Like, the G.I. Joe I remember is this G.I. Joe, not that garbage that they made, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not going to please everybody, right? Like, you're going to see things that kind of, like Transformers. I liked the first one. I hated the rest of them. I actually, no, I liked the first one. The second one was so bad that I stopped watching. I didn't watch any of the rest of them after that.
I like them.
I didn't, because you're not a Transformers fan. See, I get that. See, that's the thing. I used to tell her, with Marvel movies, and a lot of times, or DC movies, I sometimes feel like I know too much, like, about the source material, that a lot of times I can't just enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I'm looking for it to be like the source material. And so when they go outside of the lines, so I get it for the people who are like some of the.
He had to explain that to me about Black Widow. I didn't get it.
So a lot of the, it's abomination, because she doesn't know anything about it. I get it. Like, sometimes I wish I was like that, where I could just go in and be like, oh, this is fun. But if you know the source material, you know that they completely destroyed what the movie should have been, right? Yeah. So to relate that back to some of the Lauren Chen you're talking about, and some of the other girls who were like, this has destroyed my childhood, they were like, how come we couldn't just be on a fun adventure? How come it couldn't just be Barbie and Ken in a pink Corvette having fun? They were on a fun
adventure. They were in the Corvette. They were in space. They were on horseback.
So they did all this.
They got arrested.
Okay.
I mean, come on. It just wasn't to her liking. Yeah. It wasn't the story that she wanted told. Like,
yeah,
it's an over-the-top, silly movie. Like, if you get satires like that are like super silly, that a certain kind of comedy, then you'll get this kind of movie. You'll get it. And you'll see what they were kind of going for. It's just supposed to be funny. It's lighthearted. And a lot of the jokes are over the top. They're supposed to be like that.
I'll take your word for it, because I'm not going to see it.
Oh, come on.
But, again, it's not made for me, right? If I am sitting in there.
It's Definitely for moms and their daughters and nieces and things like that.
If you see me sitting in there by myself, right, then you guys should be worried about something else. Like, why is this guy sitting in here in the back by himself? But in the Barbie movie, right?
I will boldly say that the 70% of the audience that has gone to see it is female.
Yeah.
I will say out of that 70% of the audience, I'm going to say at least 80% of the audience liked it.
Hey.
20% probably hated it, but those are the 20% that's on the internet, because people that don't like things speak up.
I think it's at 90. I think it's at, I just checked before we went live. I think it's 93 or 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the audience score is like 90. So, because I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes in general, like at least the critics, because critics are all bought and paid for now, 90% of them. But the audience tells the truth most of the time, right? Because you don't really, you can't pay off all the audience members to say it was good, right? Mm-hmm. So the audience scores, if you look at audience scores and you go to IMDb,
isn't that funny? The audience scores up here, but all of the material, the YouTubes is all negative, because that's what you're going to click on.
Yeah. Tell us what you think. Did you see the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Leave us a comment. Tell us. Was it woke? Was it stupid? Was it fun? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let us know. We're bumping up because it's time. We're going to get out of here. It was fun. We'll talk next time.